and welcome back to Praggers Gaming. I'm Gamer Praggers and this is Citizen Sleeper. Excuse me. In the last episode, wow, we helped Ethan as much as we could, but unfortunately he made decisions that had a permanent impact on his longevity. He was unalived from his own petard, and then Maywick, who is the one that shot him, we panicked and killed him. So for now we are free-ish. We still need to keep that stabilizer, but yeah, so let's go ahead and end the cycle. We've got decent ways of making money. Sleeper, Moritz is waiting for you on your way out. How have you been? Surviving? Moritz nods. That's the struggle. He glances around. He runs his hand through his hair. I've been meaning to ask you, Sleeper. What's it like? He pauses, suddenly unsure. I mean, you know, what does it feel like? To be a sleeper? Yeah, if you don't mind. It's strange. Might need to do a reboot. Yeah, I know I can't understand it, you know, with your frame and all, and well, everything else. But I wanted to say, I have a lot of sympathy for it. Like, having to find a place, having to survive, having no future. He looks down. A lot of people around here understand that. Moritz looks away, and you notice him for the first time, not just as Bliss's assistant, but as someone with their own worries, their own struggles, their own life. You feel bad for not noticing earlier. Moritz looks back at you. Anyway, got a message for you. Bliss sent me down. We scored another contract, and she needs your help. That's the message. He pauses. Look, I know last time the payment didn't come through, but you did good work. Bliss knows that. It's no problem. Okay then. He pauses again. She's doing her best, you know? I know. He nods. See you up there. Moritz turns and strides off, leaving you in the corridor. Time to help Bliss, and maybe this time, you think to yourself, it'll work out. So... where do we go? What have we got? We got some data we can sell. Nothing there. We could work, but I think we're better off doing this. Because we sometimes get scrap from it. Like that. We'll put a 3 in there. Dope. That's not what I wanted to happen. Right. Let's go and see Bliss. Okay. Okay, so we can sacrifice section, vent a section, and you have a better chance of saving the remaining crops, but you will lose some in the process. The question is, how many? Or we reinforce the bulkheads. Welding in zero-G farm is tricky. The torch, the heat, the sealant, everything can damage the crop you're trying to save. Well, we're going to put that in. Okay. And that's all we can do. because we don't have much to do. Dragon Havenage. We'll just pop one in. Okay. End the cycle. Okay. Let's go and help Bliss. Right. Oh, I see. Okay. Oh, I don't really want to, but okay. Okay. Let's take that 3 and do something else. So we got 67. Let's go and work there. Okay, right. Okay, so we are going to need to use the stabilizer this time. So how much was the stabilizer? 64. Okay. So we end the cycle. Oh, I didn't use the stabilizer. Okay. No, we'll use the stabilizer before we rest. Okay. Nothing in those two yet. Three and a 4. Let's use the 4. On Bliss. Okay. And then do that. No. Okay. Unfortunately. Okay, let's speak to Rabiah. This time you meet inside Rabiah's office, although now that you've seen it, office seems like the wrong term. You find her stood in an almost bare, shadowy unit midway through a sequence of stretches. There are 2 low stools and a terminal in the corner, but it seems that most of the space is taken up by a heavy punching bag, rubber matting, and a stack of weights. When Rabiah turns to greet you, you realise she is missing an arm. The prosthetic she usually wears is set in a cradle near the terminal, a web of coloured wires running to it. Updates, she says, noticing you looking where her artificial arm usually is. Nothing to worry yourself with. Of course. Sit, says Rabiah, gesturing to the 2 diminutive stools. You both settle on the stools, Rabiah crossing her legs on top and sitting straight back. Jaya told me you've been doing the rounds, collecting tides. Titties. Patrolling the ward, she smiles. Some of the enforcers are impressed, and I hear you handled a few difficult circumstances. Nicely done. I wanted to see for myself. She raised an eyebrow. See what for yourself? If the stories are true? I see. Rabiah flexes her neck side to side. And the conclusion? Still deciding. Well, Sleeper, Rabiah says teasingly, please keep us updated on any progress. She smiles a thin smile. Joking aside, I know that for you, life on the Eye has been a struggle, but I hope we can do something about that from here onwards. Though some of our members might not see it this way. I know you two are a refugee. She looks at you solemnly. That is why you have come to us. Enough, Rabiah. Sabine's voice cuts through the conversation. I am tired of listening to your affected nobility. They cross the room, Rabiah's baton in her hand, the end lit with sparking electricity. Rabiah looks between the two of you. I suppose this ambush was another cooperation between you two. She looks strangely unfazed. No, there ain't. Sabine pauses, thrown off for a moment by your enunciation. Rabiah takes this opportunity to act. She leaps from the stool and, fainting past Sabine, grabs the baton and twists it inwards. She is by far the stronger, and she pushes Sabine to their knees, plunging the crackling end of the baton towards their chest. They freeze there, Sabine struggling to keep the crackling baton from their skin. Stop! Then you support them? Rabiah asks you, her eyes not leaving Sabine. Your loyalties are so easily swayed? I thought you were more than Yannick's attack dog, Rabiah. Sabine spits back. Are you not able to think for yourself? Rabiah holds the baton strong, and for a moment you think she is about to hammer it down into Sabine's chest, but after a painful wait, she throws Sabine down instead, then spins the baton in her hand, thumbing a switch and shutting it off in a single move. Rabiah, explain. They both look at you, each still catching their breath as if they had forgotten about your presence. Explain what? How the moment I call my enforcers will come down here and take them away? Rabiah cracks her neck. You are lucky I didn't kill you. I would have had every right, she shouts, the anger a release of tension more than a threat. Sabine lifts themselves a little, bruised from the fall. They roll onto their side and cough. Rabiah gives them some space, sitting back on the stool. Sabine props themselves up on their elbows and fixes Rabiah with a hard stare. You have something to say? Rabiah taunts. Say it. This is your final opportunity. Because after this, she laughs, no coming back. What's the point? Sabine breathes heavily. She refuses to listen to criticism of the great Yatagan project. Rabiah collects herself. Speak! She folds her arms and waits to be convinced. Sabine takes a breath, organising their thoughts. They go to start, pause, then decide on another approach. Eventually, they say it. Yannick is a traitor. Rabiah immediately flinches, her eyes going to her prosthetic arm, her muscles clenching, but she rides it out, more eager to prove Sabine wrong than she is to hurt them, at least for now. When I came here from S&R, they glance at you, gauging your reaction. It was Yannick who was one of the first to support me, to look after me. I should have known then, but I was naive and afraid. Sabine turns to you. Sleeper. They take a breath. I know that I should have told you. I worked for S&R long ago, but I thought you would abandon me, and you are my final friend. What you should know is that I left S&R because I was running for my life. I leaked documents on the Sleeper program, on the illegal and immoral practices it relied on, to the press. S&R wanted me dead, and I fled as far as I could, to this refuge at the end of the surrogate systems. Sabine stops to collect themselves. What does that have to do with Yannick? Rabiah interrupts. The Sleeper knows you are S&R. I told them. And while you hide beneath the cover of being a whistleblower, you and I both know you worked on the Sleeper program. Yannick told me as much. Sabine's face falls. It is true. They glance at you and then away, ashamed. They lift their head. But it is Yannick, not me, who is in the pocket of S&R. Rabiah flinches again. I can prove it. He made some kind of deal to keep me here, to tie me up in debt, to lock me away. In exchange, Rabiah slams her hand on the desk. Just tell us, for God's sake! In exchange for those, finishes nodding towards Rabiah's prosthetic arm in its cradle. He has been using Yatagan enforcers, using you as test subjects for S&R technology. I have the data to prove it. He has been bringing them under the guise of stolen shipments and having me fit them, knowing each one is capturing data and sending it back to its makers. Rabiah's fixed expression has started to fade. Sabine produces the slate. It's all here. Thousands of hours of usage data, failure rates, error dumps. These are untested implants, Rabiah. They could short out, fail, cause cascading failures across a person's body. And they have. Sabine suddenly looked incredibly tired. I thought the error rate in the units was down to them being stolen or modified. I have tried to fix hundreds of failures in my time here. Not all of them. They stop, unable to continue. Rabiah closes her eyes and breathes in. Then she opens them again. She holds out a hand to Sabine. Show me, she says. Later, much later when you leave, Sabine is still talking Rabiah through the manifests and usage data, both of them crowded around the terminal, as Sabine leads Rabiah's through each layer of Yannick's betrayal. As you leave, Sabine catches your eye and something passes between you, something like a thank you, or a sorry, or some other expression that communicates both sadness and hope. Well, so we've got some time to kill. So we need food, because we are starving. Okay. And as we are out of dice, we are going to inject the stabilizer. There we go, and we're going to end the cycle. Okay, we've got a bit more freedom now. We got the 5 dice. They're not great, but what we can do is we're going to take Yatigan, Yatagan, I don't really know, and we're going to sell that. No. Here. No, that was Havenish, wasn't it? Yatagan was down here. Here. Okay. Right. And then the Overlook. Put one in. Oh, that's not good. Then we're still waiting on that one. We're waiting on. Okay. Right, let's. We're going to put that in. 24 cryo, nice. Right. Let's see if we can help Bliss out. Saving the crops. There we go. You and Bliss are floating in the bay's airlock, waiting for it to cycle. You pick a few leaves from your clothes as you wait. They float around the chamber as if carried by a lazy wind. Clean work. Bliss bows a little. Well, thank you, Sleeper. You didn't do too bad yourself. She checks her tool belt. Seems like we are getting into a good rhythm. The now familiar sequence of clunks and rattles sound out, and then the door hisses open. The moment it does, you know something has once again gone wrong. What's all this? Bliss asks a confused-looking Moritz. Beside him are a set of crates anchored to the bay floor. He has clearly just brought them in through the bay's freight lock. Moritz looks nervously between the two of you before answering. It's payment. He runs a hand along the crate. The Sycamore Seed crew just brought them over. He stops, but seeing the look on Bliss's face adds, They were very thankful. I bet they were. She clenches her fist. What the hell is inside? Moritz leans over and struggles with the catches on each side of the top crate. As he does, Bliss turns to you. Don't say it. Bliss stares into space. Don't you dare say it. Don't. She gives you a hard look. This isn't my fault. Moritz finally gets the catches free, and the lid floats off, drifting up into the bay. As it does, a small brown lump floats up with it. Moritz reaches out and catches it as it passes him. Is that a... mushroom? Bliss finishes. A damn mushroom? They paid us in mushrooms? Not just mushrooms. He holds out a clump of tightly packed leaves. Produce. Bliss starts laughing. Goddamn high for commune. Should have known they didn't have a chit to rub between them. She knocks a small brown mushroom across the bay. Stop, Blitz! Moritz grabs her hand. These are good, fresh. We can sell them. To who, Moritz? Are we running a grocer's now? We need cryo, otherwise the whole bay will shut down. We can't pay for pots with leafy greens. She waggles them in Moritz's face. I can use them. Bliss raises an eyebrow. What, 4 whole crates? Even you can't be that hungry. You can take a few. You can take a few, but the rest we'll sell. She smiles to herself. Or at least Moritz will sell them, if he's so eager. Moritz closes up the crates and starts moving them. It isn't that bad, Bliss. It's a step in the right direction. He glances at you, looking for your backup. They sell well. Bliss sighs. Looks like I went into business with a couple of wannabe farmers. She laughs. Prove me wrong, then. Show me this as a windfall. She kicks away towards the new patched-together terminal. Until then, I'll be working on how to keep this place open. Moritz mouths a thank you and goes back to moving the crates. You'd better be on your way too. Okay. Okay, so we got 4. Right. Look at that. We have 3. Well, no, we've got 5 of those mushrooms now. So if we now go to Memphis. Okay, so we got to wait 3 cycles. In the meantime, then, we haven't opened up Low Ender yet. Let's do that. Oh, whoops. Okay. Right. Right, let's end the cycle. We got 120 cryo. That's not too bad. Ooh, those are some decent dice. Right, let's put this in. Okay. And then we'll put a 4 in there. Right. I can't buy anything from him. This could be a problem. We're gonna have to do that, aren't we? It's not great, but it'll do. Temple Tea House. We'll play Tavla as well. Actually, is there anything else we can do? Oh, yeah. Feng. Okay. Not bad. And we'll end the cycle. Okay. Right. Yet again. And I think we can do Havenage as well. Okay. So we can sell those. Oh, they're both in. So we can buy a ship mine fragment for 32. Oh. Scrap freighter. Buy some scrap. And we'll unload. Oh, nice. Right. Okay, that's one. And we can speak to Rabiah. As you enter Rabiah's office, you hear voices. Is that Sabine? You push open the door. Sleeper, what good timing. Rabiah calls out as you enter. I wanted to introduce you to someone. The man is standing at the center of the room, speaking quietly with Rabiah. He turns as you come in. Meet Yannick. Sleeper, he nods. Been hearing good things from Rabbi. He smiles an easy smile. Rabiah? Rabiah cuts in. The Sleeper has been running patrols in the ward. They know how we run things. Yannick raises an eyebrow. His eyes concealed behind tinted glasses. You feel his stare, even if you cannot see it. Actually, Rabiah places a hand on your shoulder. The Sleeper was what I wanted to talk to you about. She doesn't spare you a look. What is going on? Well, okay then. Yannick tucks his hands into his pockets. Go on. I'd like to recommend them to your ward. A tiny pause. They have shown themselves to be a capable ally here on the spoke side. But we have more than enough to run our territories. I hear the main block is proving more difficult. Yannick leads forward slowly. It's a mess, Rabbi. He waits, his tinted glasses shimmering despite the lack of light in the unit. I can use them, he suddenly decides. Rabiah smiles. Good to hear. I can immediately... Yannick cuts her off with a raised hand. 1 second. He steps one surprisingly light step closer to you. You eager to work, Sleeper? What kind of work? A question? Yannick lowers his head and raises it again, as if he dropped something. Nothing new for you, he answers. Not quite looking at you. You don't follow. What is he saying? That concludes it. That concludes it, Yannick pronounces. Sleeper can come work in the ward any time they like. You shoot Rabiah a confused look. Rabiah finally glances at you for a moment, but it's so fast you almost miss it. Good. Good. I know you'll be happy. I know you'll be happy with their work, Yan. Yannick reaches out and squeezes her shoulder. Sure, Rabbi, he says. Now please, he says, turning to face you. Let us old friends get back to it. He guides Rabiah away, leaving you standing alone. You look to Rabiah, but she's deep in conversation, and so stunned and confused, you leave. Okay, so we've now got Yannick's ward. Let's do that and gain Yannick's trust. Okay. I don't think we can do anything with Bliss yet. No. Right, so we can pay 14. How much does that get us? It gets us 3. Okay. So we've got a 5. So let's do this. And that will complete that. Sleeper! You see Feng coming up the corridor as you step out of Ming Ji's, the kelp noodle smell still clinging to your clothes. He comes up fast and stops close, looking around suspiciously. I don't have long. Take these. Feng palms you a couple of those metal thumbnail-sized drives, ripperworms. My slate has been buzzing like crazy. It seems your delivery shifts have turned up our 2 targets. He squeezes your shoulder. I knew you could do it. Now we nail those snakes. I'm ready. Good to hear it, he smiles. Hardin's boys are all connected by some kind of closed network. You break the access protocols on both of them, you should be able to gain the location of the nearest network ports. Slot the ripperworms in those ports, 1 each. They'll feed me anything and everything stored on Hardin's shadow network. He smiles. Can't wait to see what juicy plans they have in there. You hear the scuff of boots as a group comes up the corridor, likely on their way to place an order with Minji. You turn for a second, and when you look back, Feng is already halfway down the corridor in the opposite direction. He raises a hand in farewell, and is gone. You run your fingers over the tiny ripperworm drives in your pocket, and smile to yourself as you wonder how mad Jenna will be at Feng for this little excursion. Time to slot some worms. However, that's okay. Guardian agent. Ooh, we need dice. Okay. Well, unfortunately, that's all we've got time for. So we are going to end the cycle. So thanks for hanging out. Don't forget to leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel, ticking the bell so you know when new videos go live. In the description is a link to the channel Discord. Feel free to come and talk about the games you're playing, the games I'm playing, games in general. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace!